thank you for coming. My name is Damian Russell. We're going to actually start. I've got about maybe 20 minutes for you, and then our featured speaker, Lamar Baxter, is going to get up here and give you some valuable information about retirement, investing, home mortgage, mortgage qualification, and so on. So very valuable information today, and I hope that you'll get value out of it. And if you have any questions, we'll leave contact information and everything following and on the bottom of the screen for you as we're going. So let's get started. As I said, my name is Damian Russell. I am the author of Financial Literacy and Ownership, What They Don't Want Us to Know. The session is geared for our black and brown communities and minority communities as a wake-up call. I wrote this book a few years ago, and I did so for the reason that, I was bothered. I was upset, bothered internally, call it what you will. What was bothering me was the fact that we had this huge problem, this huge issue, as I perceived it, among minority communities, and no one noticed, or no one seemed to even realize that it was a problem, or that there was an issue. And we're watching protests about, Black Lives Matter, and I won't name them all, but similar issues like that. And my concern was that, yes, absolutely, those are valid issues. However, they are not the issue. The issue is this: financial literacy and ownership. And you'll see as we talk about wealth disparity in America, the difference, the wealth gap between minority communities and non-minority communities, that wealth gap. If you read this book, you'll understand that that wealth gap is caused primarily because of our lack of financial literacy and ownership in America. So, statement's pretty simple. What will you do? And the book, as I wrote it, is actually a call to action. This is the most pressing issue facing black and brown communities today, primarily because in these communities, most people in these communities don't even understand the gravity of it or that the problem even exists. So what I would say is that you've heard the saying, I hope, that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people he did not exist. That leads to the proliferation of evil, the proliferation of all things bad. Well, this I see in a similar vein. The greatest trick that's been pulled on us as minorities in America is to convince us that this is not an issue, this is not a problem. Financial literacy, not an issue, nothing you need to worry about, nothing you need to try to acquire, not a skill set or a mindset that you need to achieve. And that ownership, not so significant. You go ahead and rent. Go ahead and finance your cars, rent your homes, rent your offices, or if you have businesses that you own. Otherwise, go ahead and punch the time clock. Ownership, don't worry about that. We got that over here. That's why I named the book Financial Literacy and Ownership, What They Don't Want Us to Know. It's not this conspiracy against minorities. It's just that they kind of prefer, right now we don't know, we're not in the know, and they kind of prefer to keep it that way. If we could just keep on subsisting outside of the know. And hopefully the book, some people thought that I was going to go deeply into finance, financial literacy, investment strategies, investment calculations and computations. I did not. It is not a math book. It's an easy read. The purpose of the book was to bring awareness, simply bring awareness to this issue, which I feel has gone largely undiscovered or unrevealed. I talked to people in preparing to write this book, and they're like, "What? That's an issue? Why don't you write about Black Lives Matter and Black lives being snubbed out by white police officers?" And I had to think, like I said, that is a valid issue, but that is not the issue. First of all, there are far more blacks killing blacks than there are white police officers killing blacks. Far more. Every minute of every day, every hour of every day, in every city in America, this is happening. Where's the protest in that? I don't see the whole movement, the protest in those instances. I wish I did. But the reality is, I call to all of you to understand that this is the real issue. While all that is going on, I won't call it a distraction because I don't want to belittle it, but while all that is going on, this has been persisting since Jim Crow. This has been persisting from the dawn of our time here in civilized America. The ability to keep us unaware, uninformed, and just plodding along. In the book, I kind of likened it a couple of times in a couple of passages in the book, I likened it to the Matrix. If you can already recall the movie The Matrix. The reason I made the comparison to The Matrix was because we are in minority communities, we're just kind of subsisting like in The Matrix. You recall the people were batteries, basically, to power the machines, but they didn't know that. They thought they were going about their everyday lives. They were kept out of the know. That was the thing with the two pills. Pick one. Do you want to know or do you not want to know? The red and blue pills, if you can remember that from the movie. And I'm stretching my memory because it's been several years since I've seen it. But I made those comparisons in the book for that reason. We are just subsisting outside of the know. We have no concept or clue what we're missing, what we're not involved in. The chess match that's being played all around us, we think, even those who are aware slightly think that, oh, that doesn't have anything to do with me, I'm not in the game. You are in the game, you're just a pawn in the game. What I hope to do in the book is bring, as I said, and heighten that awareness, get you in the know so that you can start participating in your own game. Get out of the role of being the pawn. You're still being moved about the board for someone else's gain. I'm suggesting that as minorities in America, we too can be chess masters. We can too step back and play the game and move the pieces about the board for our gain. The amount of buying power and wealth that we have as a community is indisputable. The issue is, are we aware of it? Are we aware of the ability or the means to use that as leverage to gain clout, power, an achievement or accomplishment, or even just benchmark milestones in America? All other communities are. Even immigrant communities come here and they understand this from day one. They understand it because they, and I'm talking children, they see it from a young age. They see their parents and other people in their communities, their doctors, their lawyers, they own the hardware store, they own this business, they own that business. It's within the community. Think Little Russia or these little communities, Chinatown, where the money's kept within the community because people are serviced and they're able to get services and products and goods within their own community. So they earn $1, maybe outside the community, maybe they have a job outside the community. Those dollars come back into the community. They're spent within the community. The average dollar in a Russian community circulates, I think it was 4.7 times, or I'm sorry, 7.4 times. In the Jewish community, for example, average dollar circulates 13.2 times before it leaves the Jewish community. Black, brown, minority communities, less than 1. The average dollar earned outside of the community, because you go to your job and you come back into the community, but there are no black services, goods, or products, and if there are black business owners, we're not patronizing them. So those dollars will go to Walmart and spend that dollar. We'll go here and spend that damn dollar, but we won't spend it in our own community. So statistically, I'm telling you that less than 1 time a dollar circulates in black and brown communities. We're so damn eager to earn our buck, cash our check on payday, and hit the streets outside of the community that we are not spending money in our own communities. We're not empowering, enriching ourselves. We're not gaining any wealth as a community. We're just plodding along, and we've got plenty of money. Black folks work, brown folks work, we have jobs, we have income, we own businesses, but what do we do with the money is the question, compared to what other communities do with their money and with their hard-earned dollars. We're lacking, folks. We're missing the point. And that's what I hope to address in the book as well. And I think I did so fairly well. I just need people to read it to get the message. Take the message to heart. It's real. And this is not an adult message. It's not a child message. This is a message for all of us. The reality is we can't begin to, as I address with some of the other immigrant communities, they covet what they see. They grow up learning that they can grow up and be business owners. They can own the business down the street, the store around the corner, the gas station, on the block. They can own all this stuff. They grow up learning that, seeing that, not being told. They see it. It's real. Their neighbor owns the gas station. And he looks like them, sounds like them, speaks with an accent like them, has the same coloration as them, has the same origin as them, and comes from the same place as them. That's what they learn. We're not learning that. Our children are not learning that. They grow up in communities where everybody rents everything. There's no discussion really of ownership because there's no understanding at the adult level of the power of ownership. We cannot covet what we don't see, what we don't know. How do you expect a kid to covet or desire or want something or want to achieve something that they don't know, one, either exists, they don't understand the value of it, so they don't appreciate it. It's not something they wish to achieve. They see rap videos, they see ignorant television shows and these fake-ass reality shows, and that's what we covet. That's what we want to be. We want to be the rapper. We want to be the ball player. We want to be the entertainer. Do we want to be the CEO? No, I'm telling you, there are plenty of black CEOs of Fortune 500, 100, and 1,000 companies that you would just be blown away, mind blown, to understand that there are black people and minorities at the helm of these large corporations. But they are. You don't hear of them. You don't see of them. And that's unfortunate because it is that reason that our children don't desire that. They don't covet that. They don't believe that they can achieve that because they don't see it. They have no example. They have no role model, no mentor that believes that they can be the CEO of American Express, that they can be the CEO of McDonald's. Say what you want about the menu, there's a black person at the helm of McDonald's. Did anyone know that? Why would you? But I bet you can tell me when Jay-Z's next release is coming out. And I admire him because he's a wealthy man and he's a smart man. But the reality is, we need to see blacks in accomplishment outside of that arena, outside of that box. If we can, then our children will begin to covet these things and believe that they can achieve. And belief is powerful. Belief is more powerful than anything you can possibly hope to foster in a youth. But it starts at home. The parents have to believe that their children can achieve these things. Their parents have to show their children that, yes, they can achieve these things in America. And without that example, mentorship, our children will never wish to achieve or believe these things are possible. So with that, I'm going to start to conclude. I'm really interested in getting our next speaker, Lamar Baxter, up here. Lamar is going to go into a little bit more depth on that computation, calculation, investment strategies, retirement scenarios and schemes and schematics that would benefit you, and begin to kind of foster that mind shift, that paradigm shift in mindset or thinking that we need as a community to understand that there are financial angles and strategies out there that are available to us that don't require great wealth to begin, but can achieve and gain and garner great wealth in the end. Lamar Baxter is a financial expert. He's a retirement expert. He's an actual active practicing mortgage originator and specializes in self-directed IRAs, 401ks. I'll let him get into that a little bit more, but I just want you to understand the value that this gentleman can bring to you if you just hear his message. And that's where we're at. I want to thank you all for watching today. Again, the book is Financial Literacy and Ownership, What They Don't Want Us to Know. I have been Damian Russell. I'm the author, also an owner of a real estate company with my wife. We own Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Elite, the Russell Realty team in Sacramento. So I come from a real estate background. Lamar comes from a finance background. I could have gone into some of that today. I really want to focus on the message for the book. And again, I ask you, what will you do? You is emphasized there because that is the question. What will you do? You have much that you can do, in beginning with educating your children, educating yourself. Grab a book, check it out, read it, educate yourself, begin to have that shift in mindset. And yes, one person can make a difference.